What's going on, everybody? It's Aaron Cates, and I'm coming at you with another video today. Now, this is going to be a different style video because we're not going to be working on my truck. As you can see, my girlfriend's car behind me is all open, hood's popped, and a lot of things are taken apart. Let me just show you why. A year ago, as I told you, yesterday was her birthday, which was Tuesday. A year ago from yesterday, I bought her a aftermarket radio, which is this Kenwood right here. It is a Kenwood. It's the top one, the DDX672BH. Bunch of pointless numbers, but I bought her that radio, and her car has a stock backup camera. It is right here. Now, trying to find a harness for a newer car and a not very popular car is kind of hard. So I was trying to find a harness that includes the stock backup camera compared so you can hook the stock backup camera up to the aftermarket radio. I found a harness, but where I made a mistake is I didn't disconnect the battery before trying to put this harness in. And what happened is it shorted out and it blew a fuse in here. Now, the car everything would turn on when you turn the key forward like you're about to start it, but as soon as you went to turn it, there would be a clicking sound coming from the dash over here. And that can be very scary. The car wasn't starting, so first thing I did was I want to make sure the starter worked. So I took a wrench and I jumped the starter solenoid, which is right down in here. It is this right here. You jump the posts and it fired up and started. And I went to drive it and it had no power, so instant I'm scared. So of course I checked all the fuses on the side of the dashboard. Of course, there wasn't any of those, and trying to find the fuse box in this car was a nightmare. You have to pull out the top of the air breather, then you have to pull out the battery, the cage that holds the battery in, which is right there, and then this holds the fuse panel up against the firewall. There's a bolt holding the actual fuse panel to the firewall, and then there is two nuts that hold it down to this battery tray. So it was a major pain to get out, and then once you get it out, you can't see any of the fuses because they're right here, and there's absolutely zero diagram for the fuses. And getting this out is kind of a booger. You have to pop the tabs out and pull up, but it's got to be bolted down to pull it up, and then once it's bolted down, you can't get it out because of this right here. So you have to unbolt it and then pull it out and then pull that out completely, but it has to be bolted down in order to take the tabs off. So it's kind of a nightmare. Well, I finally figured it out, and I got this out, and I of course went on Doodle and looked up the diagram for the fuses because it's not in the owner's manual, which I would think it would be, but it wasn't. And I found fuse 49 right here. It's a 10 amp fuse, is the system functioning fuse, and pulled it out. I'll show it to you just so you can see what a blown fuse looks like if you don't already know. And this is a blown fuse. Let's see if I can get it on camera. See how that tab's broken in the middle? That is a blown fuse. So, of course, there wasn't a spare fuse with this car, which you think there would be, and this isn't a normal fuse that I have. I have bags of fuses, and I don't have any of those. So I came over here, and the accessory fuse, which you don't need your accessories right now. If this is keeping your car from starting, car starts before accessories. So I can go to AutoZone, buy another fuse, worry about that later. I took it out, and I put it in here, which was a 10 amp fuse. You don't want to go any higher because you could short something out. So I replaced the 10 amp fuse. And you see the jumper cables. I connected the jumper cables up to the terminal, to the battery. That way, before I put everything back together, I could make sure this is what was wrong with it. So, of course, it fixed it, and that's why I'm showing you. Now, the reason I am recording this is because I could not find this anywhere online. Like I've done with my other truck videos, I try to do things that I can't find online, because if I'm looking for it, I know someone else out there is going to be as well. Now, this isn't really an in-depth of taking it apart, but this gives you an idea on where everything is at, and if you're having a problem with your Nissan Versa, this is how you can fix it, and this might not be it, it might be something else. But I eliminated things along the way. I checked all the fuses inside the car. Wasn't any of those. So, keys turning forward and car's not starting, of course you want to check the starter. Jump the solenoid, starter engaged, car started. I know it's not the starter because or else the car wouldn't start even if you jump the solenoid. So, of course, I'm trying to find the other fuses because that's not the only fuses in the car. I knew there had to be a fuse box underneath the hood, and that's where I pulled this apart. Now, of course, there wasn't a diagram, and that's where Google becomes your best friend with working on cars. Because thanks to Google, I was able to, one, locate where this fuse box was actually at, because I knew the fuses were in right there, but I didn't know like where. And once I pulled this apart, you can see right here that these fuses along the back, I saw those, and then I was able to see these, and I didn't know the fuse diagram. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching. My whole intention on making this video was because I couldn't find this anywhere on YouTube, anywhere on Google. The only type of thing I found was someone saying that their starter went out, and I eliminated that factor with jumping the solenoid, so I knew that wasn't it, so I had to hunt and use my own common sense to figure this out. But thankfully, I recorded this video and I figured it out, so if something like this ever happens to you, you now know what you can do. And this could happen putting a radio in. So you could have just put a radio in your car and popped that fuse and your car won't start. Instead of having to trailer it to a dealership or have a tow truck come pick it up and you pay up to thousands of dollars in order to get it fixed, something as simple as this you can do yourself and just replace that fuse. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Side note, everybody, backup camera does work.
Pull up, all the kids screaming, whoa, whoa. They